Welcome to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Julia Chen. I'm here to help you heal your eczema naturally so you can finally live your best damn life. Many years ago in my own eczema healing journey, I was stuck and confused on how to heal my skin. Fast forward to today, after many lessons learned and lots of trial and error, I'm now living my best life and traveling the world with clearer skin. If you're an eczema or TSW warrior who desires a life of food freedom and is wanting to heal your skin without steroids while using mindset and manifestation as a tool, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Today I want to talk about why you're always tired, the fatigue that you're experiencing daily, even though you're sleeping 7 to 9 hours every night. You feel like you're crashing throughout the day and you don't know why, even if you're eating the right foods, you're having a balanced diet, you feel like your lifestyle is very healthy and balanced, but you're not actually feeling it in your body. You feel more tired than usual, then you definitely want to listen to this episode because I'm going to be giving you 3 main reasons as to why you're feeling low energy despite doing all the things. Before we get into it, I'm really excited because I've been speaking on a lot of podcasts over the past few months, and the episodes, some of them have already been released and others are coming. There's a podcast called What is TSW by Luke, and he interviews a lot of guest speakers. He talks about skin, eczema, and we recently had a really good conversation about everything related to skin health, your relationship with your skin and yourself, nutrition, emotions, root causes. We literally dived into everything. The whole episode is an hour and 20 minutes long. I just listened to the episode. There's so many golden nuggets in there. It'll give you a fresh new perspective, I think, when it comes to your journey, no matter where you're at. If you're early on into your healing journey, if you are someone that's more advanced, then this episode is going to be for you. I'm going to drop the episode link in the show notes below. So if you want to hear the conversation Luke and I had together on his podcast, then make sure you check it out. And then we also have someone come on our podcast, and that episode will be coming out really soon. She's going to talk all about SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Super excited that I had her on. She's has a wealth of knowledge. She works with a lot of people with gastrointestinal issues and symptoms. And so stay tuned for that episode. And we have other speakers that are going to be coming onto our podcast. So I'm excited. Different topics outside of eczema, which is exactly what we've been trying to do in the past year, is to expand and talk about other conditions, because we all know that skin is related to not just the skin, right? Other parts of the body as well. So I'm excited to bring that type of conversation and other topics into the podcast. Okay, let's get into it. Oh my gosh, it's Vancouver so nice this time of the year right now. My desk and my computer faces east. I get really nice natural light in the morning and throughout the day. I absolutely love it here, which is interesting because you would never hear me say that even just a year ago. Okay, so off topic there a little bit. Let's get into the episode, why you have low energy and how it's not just related to sleep. A lot of the times we think that when we have low energy, it's because we haven't had a good night's sleep. And while that is definitely true and a fact, that if you don't have a good night's sleep and actual restful REM sleep, then you'll wake up feeling unrested, you'll wake up feeling tired. But there's so many other root causes that we want to also look into that's beyond just a lack of sleep. One of the main reasons why people experience low energy throughout the day is actually because of their adrenals being overworked. Your adrenals are the organ that sits on top of your kidneys. It's very much responsible for regulating the stress hormone cortisol. And when your cortisol levels are too high, this is when you start to experience more inflammation in the body. The most common reason why people experience adrenal fatigue is what we call it in a functional perspective, is because of chronic emotional, physical, and mental stress. Whether that's from overworking, trauma, inflammation, a health issue, right? That's also very stressful on the body. Even under eating and nutrient deficiencies is stressful on the adrenals and on your body. I actually have an episode all about the science behind adrenal fatigue, definitely check out the episode. You can search it up on the podcast if you just type in adrenal fatigue or just type in adrenals. But when your adrenals are overworked because of chronic stress, then that is when you're going to experience low energy. A common symptom of adrenal fatigue is you have high cortisol levels at the wrong times. So what it typically looks like when you have healthy adrenals and your cortisol are more balanced is that your cortisol levels are supposed to rise the highest during the morning. Usually it's around 6 to 8 a.m. upon waking. And then by the time you go into the evening, it's supposed to go down to a lower level because it prepares your body for sleep. What that looks like and how you feel in your body is that you should wake up naturally and feeling relatively refreshed. And then you should feel alert in the morning, focused, ready to work. And by the end of the evening, this is when you start to feel sleepy and you start to wind down and prepare for sleep. When the cortisol pattern is off and there's a lot of high stress, what it might look like is that your cortisol levels are actually low in the morning when it's supposed to be high. And this is going to cause symptoms like difficulty getting out of bed. You feel extremely tired, extremely groggy. We call it tired and wired. You're tired first thing in the morning. And then in the evening, when your cortisol level is supposed to be low to prepare you for bed, it's actually high when it's imbalanced. And that's when you feel wired at night. You'll have trouble sleeping. You'll feel kind of like this burst of energy more at nighttime. That leads into insomnia for some people. And then you don't sleep well. And then the cycle continues, right? You wake up tired and then you're up again at night. So that typically is what it will look like for someone who has adrenal fatigue or their adrenals just aren't working as optimally as we want it. And as I mentioned, the biggest reason why people have adrenal fatigue is because they're chronically stressed. There's no sort of balance with the cortisol levels because of ongoing stress. And so when this happens, even though you might even be sleeping okay throughout the night, let's say you do get 7 hours of sleep, you're still going to wake up exhausted and tired throughout the day. That's one of the reasons why you have low energy despite sleeping during the night, right? 7 to 8 hours, whatever that looks like. If you're more on the deeper end of the burnout, then you probably aren't even sleeping at night, and that would make sense. If you're not sleeping at night, you're not going to wake up refreshed. Do you guys remember the term mitochondria? You probably learned it in high school biology, but I remember when learning about mitochondria, it was very much just like, it's a structure inside your cell and it produces something called ATP, which is for your energy. But what's really interesting is that now there's been a lot of research about how mitochondrial dysfunction can cause symptoms like low energy and fatigue amongst other actual chronic conditions. They literally are the source of providing energy for your entire body. And they're in each and every single cell. Their job is to basically take all the food that you eat and the oxygen that you breathe and turn it into energy so that your body can actually use. It's like a power plant, right? If your power plant, which is your cells and the mitochondria, isn't working or functioning well, then you're going to start experiencing inflammation in the body. Mitochondrial function, just like your adrenals, is very much affected by stress. So if you have chronic unmanaged stress, then you're going to start to notice more low energy, tired no matter how much you rest, mentally foggy, brain fog, inflammation. So the fatigue that you're experiencing is actually happening at the cellular level because that is where the mitochondria is found in your cells. So that's one reason why you're noticing low energy. It comes from chronic stress, which affects your adrenals, your mitochondrial function, and just overall your entire body. The second reason why you're experiencing low energy despite sleeping well is your toxic relationships. This is a huge one. It's often overlooked because us as humans, we crave connection and we crave belonging. When we seek relationships, we even find ones that aren't really good for us because we want to feel seen or we want to be loved. But that's why people get into this loop of these chronic toxic relationships is because of that reason, but also our past and what we're used to and past conditioning, right? When we grow up in a family or in an environment where it's always been dysfunctional and there's always been a lot of patterns in the past where the relationships weren't ever healthy, we can actually repeat those patterns because they feel familiar. We're used to it in the past, so we start to kind of attract that back into our life. And so our nervous system actually can perceive that as normal. We think these toxic relationships it's normal because we're so used to it. I don't want to dive too deep into like toxic relationships and things like that, but I want to mention that when you're in a relationship that isn't healthy, that can actually cause a whole reaction in your body, because not only are you emotionally stressed more than you probably know, but you're in this environment around people who just don't fuel you. It doesn't light you up. In fact, it probably drains your energy. The interesting thing is you probably don't even notice it. Why? Because you're focusing on all the other things that you think really matter, which is the foods that you eat, how strict your diet should be, the supplements you're taking, right? Those are all the surface level things that you're focusing on to heal your body. But what's actually impacting you is that toxic relationship, is that relationship that you're in. It's actually draining your battery. And on top of the diet, your cup is empty, right? You don't have anything else to give because all you're doing is giving, doing. And that takes a huge physical, mental, and emotional toll on your body, which will cause you to have low energy. Emotional exhaustion is probably the word that I would use for this. And it takes a lot away from you. You just feel tired all the time. Like, why am I so tired? I'm sleeping all the time. Okay, this person is literally draining your energy. You might be thinking, oh my God, Julia, like I think this is what it is. Like, I think it's my boyfriend or it's my girlfriend or whatever. Like, it very much might be. And I want to also say it's not just about toxic relationships in general. It takes from you, right? Even if it's a good relationship, you're in a partnership, right? You're working together, you're doing things for each other. And even if it's a positive relationship, that still takes away from you, right? It still takes up energy. And so we do want to make sure that you're not giving too much at the same time, because you're already giving so much to yourself to help heal your eczema, your chronic symptoms. And so it's really about finding that balance is also important as well. The third reason why you're experiencing low energy despite sleeping well is nutrient deficiencies. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before, but I do want to emphasize it a little bit more today, because I have patients that come to me who on paper, their levels look in range, which oftentimes they are in range, but the problem is a lot of these ranges for nutrients are very large. So you could be on the very low end of iron, for example, and it wouldn't be flagged on your lab work, and your doctor probably wouldn't even mention it, but you're physically experiencing these symptoms and you have no idea why. So we always approach reviewing lab work in a functional way. Numbers that we look at that we want to be optimal. For example, ferritin, which is your iron storage. In conventional medicine, if your levels are above 30, that's considered normal. But 30 is very, very low, and people will start to experience symptoms even by 50. So the functional level that I prefer when it comes to ferritin is around 70 for women. If you have levels lower than 70, I would recommend optimizing your iron storage. That's one example. Then there's also vitamin D. Vitamin D also has a bigger range as well. And you could be on the lower end and still feel symptoms, but within range. So we want to optimize those levels as well, because vitamin D and iron do play a role in your energy levels. Beyond nutrient deficiencies, there's also your overall gut health. When you have dysbiosis or you have poor digestion, poor gut function, you're going to have overall poor nutrient absorption. So even though you're eating organic, you're eating non-GMO, you're eating grass-fed, but you still feel like shit, it's very much possible that you're not digesting all the amazing foods that you're eating. And if you're not digesting, you're not absorbing. So what that would look like is addressing what is going on in the gut. Is there some sort of gut dysbiosis, which a lot of people have? Do you have gut infections going on? This is why we run GI Map, which is a stool test that looks at exactly what's going on in your gut microbiome, not just the bad bacteria or fungi or parasites. It's also looking at the levels of your good bacteria as well, which is important because you want to have good levels in order to have a flourishing gut microbiome. When you heal your gut, you'll start to experience better energy levels, given that there's no other factors going on. Like I mentioned, right? Nutrient deficiencies, emotional drain from relationships, burnout and stress, right? Those factors are also very important as well. But if it's just gut related, when you heal your gut, generally you should see better energy levels. If this episode brought any realizations for you, maybe you're like, wow, I actually might be holding on to a relationship that's not serving me. I hope this episode gave you some insight as to maybe patterns you've been stuck in that you may want to get out of. Know that you're not alone. People experience these things. I've experienced it. My clients share with me all the time. It happens, and it probably will take some self-reflection of your relationships, of your environment, and seeing if it's really serving you in your healing. And then also looking deeper into some of the other things, like, are you chronically stressed and you're just not aware of it? Do you need to work on supporting your adrenals and mitochondrial function? And then are there also overlooked nutrient deficiencies that you may want to review again? And if you need help with all of that, identifying the root cause of why you're not feeling so great, you're interested in running a GI map, I would love to support you in my practice. You can book a free consult in the show notes below. We can talk about where you're at, where you're feeling stuck. The goal is to see if we would be a good fit working together. And if so, then we can talk about what that would look like. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you're from Vancouver, go enjoy the sun. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know I have this amazing eczema visualization. This visualization has helped me so much when it comes to manifesting eczema healing flares faster than I could ever imagine, reducing the itch, and just feeling great in my body. This is the exact same visualization I use for my own healing as well as my clients' healing as well. And if you want to receive this visualization, then all you have to do is leave us a review, tell us what you think about the podcast, screenshot it, send it to your email at hello@juliachen.ca, and you will receive the visualization to your inbox. I look forward to seeing your review, and we will see you in the next episode.